Christians, and my friend Anthony here. Anthony, you are citing Acts 24 as proof of the false idea that Christ was in hell. And you say that because it says here that Christ was in pain, that means that he was in hell. Not only was Christ not in hell and not in pain in hell, this passage doesn't say any such thing. Look at what it says here. In Acts 2:24, it says, talking about God raising up Christ, it says, whom God raised up, having loosed the pains of death. He loosed Christ from the pains of death. So Christ endured no pains of death because he was loosed from it. He didn't endure it. God separated that from him. And pain, by the way, here doesn't mean pain as in writhing from some kind of trauma. The pain here is talking about travail, sorrow, the sorrows of death, the travails of death. But God loosed him from that as well. If you go down in the passage from verse 24 and you go down to verse 27, it says, you will not leave my soul in Hades or hell, depending on which translation you have. It just says, neither will you allow your Holy One to see corruption. This is what God is talking about. Christ was not, his body was not going to endure corruption. He was loosed from the travails or from the sorrows of death. Men decompose, get rigor mortis, and become decay, and they begin to decay. Christ would not be in the grave long enough to endure that. And this is all talking about his body. His body. Christ's body did not undergo what death brings to it because he would not be in the grave long enough to see it or to sense it or to have that happen to him. He would never see decay. This verse here to support the idea that Christ was in hell couldn't be a worst. I suppose it could be, but it's probably one of the worst explanations I've ever heard to support the idea that Christ was in hell in the sense of the place of torment. Christ was in hell as far as the grave, Hades, the grave, his body, but he was not in a place of torment when his soul left his body. That would be a big mistake. Be provoked and be persuaded.